Thank you.
All
Yes.
right. Good evening. I just want to double check with you, Rose, or Mary Ellen, but just because it is supposed to be a public meeting, are you concerned at all that the link that, public will be aggravated if we actually formally hold a meeting that's not, I'll say, accessible? Because if they go to the agenda that was posted on the website, they won't be able to join. I mean, we were kind of an unofficial meeting. We don't have any actions that we can take and stuff like that. So in that regard, kind of benign, but it's also supposed to be a public meeting, so.
That is a problem.
I'm here. Thank you.
Oh, hi, Diane. I think since all it does is give information, we're not going to make any decisions.
Right.
I think we probably are safe to go ahead with it. And we'll post it. We'll post the recording so people will have access. And if somebody doesn't have access to a computer or the internet, the school can give them access to it to watch the meeting.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna guess we probably are safe.
All right.
Excuse me.
We could have a non-meeting and not record minutes and just post notes if you want as an alternative.
I think if we're gonna post anyway, people would get more from the recording if we have the meeting and post it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would also, I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, the recording would be posted, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
If we were taking actions and or could create like new agenda items, I would say that would be a different story, but we are pretty held to the agenda and we typically don't have a lot of contentious items and or we can't take action on anything anyway. So, all right, I just wanted to make sure. So I'll call the meeting to order at 7:11. Appreciate everybody's participation. Good evening, Diane. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. I think
Um,
Juan wants to join us, but he doesn't have a link either.
Okay, Samantha, can you send one to Juan? He's used to using his what's it called? His Hampton address.
His Hampton email, sure.
Yeah.
Can you, Diane, could you send him a message, like a text, and just let him know to check his email?
Yep, I can do that.
Thank you.
And I just sent it over, Diane, so it should be in his Hampton
Okay.
Email account.
Okay.
And as there's two audience for staff and citizens, I think I'm okay with moving forward in parallel with getting Juan on board, and he can have a discussion if need be at the second audience for staff and citizens.
Sure.
And Diane, did you have anything you'd like to bring up now?
No, my concern is with the school right now is getting stuff and gear to make it very safe for the kids. All the stupid stuff going around. I think that needs to be looked at quickly.
I don't understand.
Yeah. Which of all the stupid stuff are you referring to?
Oh, well, I was going to say, is there anything particular at the school that infrastructure wise, that you think we should focus on?
Yes, safety.
No, I know, but like, so like right now the school has like two sets of doors to get in the school. there's that whole atrium, the glass atrium that we built a couple of years ago so that
Yep.
there's a divide that you can't get into the school. And then
Right.
all the doors are currently locked, and then there's like currently, there's quite a few safety, like the fire, it's all, infrastructure's there. The only thing that I know of that possibly could be considered a safety concern is that the intercom system currently, I don't think is able to be heard in the bathrooms. And so that would be a safety issue, but that's where I was wondering, is it like,
Well,
Is
there
it,
should
like,
be
access of
walkie-talkies
people
in all the
into the school?
classrooms.
I'm sorry, you both talked at the same
I'm
time and I
sorry.
couldn't hear it.
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Mark,
Diane.
finish.
No, I think I was done.
I'm thinking of walkie-talkies in the classrooms, set on a certain channel for the teachers if something did happen. You know what I mean? Not on a general channel, that kind of stuff, that's, I mean, and when I said stupid stuff, I didn't mean anything stupid at our school. I'm just saying that, the crazies things that are happening.
And Diane, to that, I know Sam's on here, so she can fact check me, but we do have walkie-talkies in all of the classrooms. So that is something that we have in place, and they are all set to a specific channel
Mhm.
for those reasons that you have mentioned. We may have to look into upgrading them or a better battery life, because I've been hearing that the battery life isn't great on them, but that's something that I like literally just heard the other day. So looking into that right now, but we do have them in all the rooms, and they are all on charging. They have the charging stations in the classroom. So it was more like if they were about in the building to take it with them to make sure it goes back to being charged.
Okay, thank you.
So may I just point out that if we're going to have a discussion of security, that needs to be done at a regular meeting in executive session. That what's happening at the school to be secure should not be published in a public meeting, because that could put our kids in danger.
Well, the public kids are the ones going to school, so.
Right, but we need to keep security measures private, because we don't want to tell somebody who's going to try to go around our security how to do it.
Well, no, of course not.
Yeah, so we really need to have security discussions at the regular meeting in executive session.
Right,
Yeah,
okay. That's fair. I think I was just trying to figure out from a safety perspective, what was the intent?
Yeah.
Because it could be
Mhm,
physical safety,
yes.
or like you said, it could be some other.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Thank
all
you.
right, Diane. Anything else? All right,
I can just add to reassure that all the batteries have been upgraded and checked. Sometimes what happens is someone will unintentionally walk home with a walkie-talkie and then bring it back the next day. And so we have a few extra on hand, and I mean, I think that's happened like twice in the whole last school year, but that will drain the battery. So they just recently have all been checked, and they're in every classroom.
Great.
all right. All right. So the July 21st meeting minutes. I had looked at them. I don't think I was all set with them. Any comments from anybody?
They look good to me.
Thank you for putting those together, Mary Ellen. All right. And then I think when we were putting together Dr. Sarli, I think Sally had just had a question about the recording, but obviously she got the recording from it, so I'm not sure if that had been provided by you or somebody else, but if it was you, thank you.
It was not, but it was, Dr. Ola had it, so
Okay.
he sent it over.
Okay. Very good. All right, okay, so minutes are good. David, you were all set, right?
Yeah, I'm good with the minutes. Looks good.
Okay. All right, item 4, I left it on here just kind of as a quick wrap up, but so the paving is done. The lines were painted, and then I think everybody's paid at this point, so. And I got an email. I had reached out to Ellen Rodriguez. Sorry, while I multitask here for a second, but she gave me the amount that was still in capital non-recurring. And if I can maybe find it.
While you're looking for that, I would like to say, Mark, that this project couldn't have been done without you, and I really appreciate that you took the lead on it.
Well, thank you. It was fun.
I'm glad you
Ish.
thought so. It would have been torture for me.
Well, it was only what, 3 or 4 years of battling with multiple different agencies and people and everything else. So, yeah. I'm
It
actually
looks
kind of
great.
glad because I really would have hated to see we asked for bids last year. I guess it would have been 2 years ago, a year and a half, whatever you want to call it. But then because of COVID, it got turned down. So from a paving company's perspective, I think they would have started losing patience with us if we would have had to do that again. So I was glad to be able to move forward. And I apologize, I'm not finding that email from Ellen. But we have like $50,000. Oh, there it is right there. Yeah, we have $52,905,000.99 in the capital non-recurring fund still. That should have been after the lines were done too. So that should include that. What I didn't ask her was how much we ended up having to take out of that, but it must have been close to 8 because I think we were hovering right around $60,000 before the whole project. So it must have been 7 or 8 that we took out. So anyway, that's still I'll say fairly healthy amount for us to be able to use for this and that. And then let's see, I think if I saw Sally's numbers correctly, we should have the 2% we should be able to put to that based from last year too. But I don't remember.
I think the most we can put in is 20,000 because I missed the deadline.
Oh,
So we can do 20,000. So I think 21,000. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the 2% would be.
oh. Well, that's 1% anyway, so good enough. Yeah. All right. If I remember right, the numbers, now that you say that, Rose, I don't even think we had the leftover from last year wasn't even 2% then. If I remember the numbers from Sally's report correctly. So-
Yeah.
But
yeah.
anyway,
I checked the
Good.
ordinance just today, so I'm pretty sure of it that we can't do more than 20,000 without meeting the August deadline because it would have to go on the ballot
Right.
in November. So
Yep.
unfortunately, I missed it.
that's all right. Okay. So as far as the 5-year plan goes, I think I would probably turn the table over to, I think the primary discussion I wanted to go through there is HVAC/heating that Mary Ellen and Dave have been working on so much, so. And then Dr. Sarli, if you had anything else in the 5-year plan that's, you can let me know if you see anything, and I also just sent, or I will send fairly shortly, the 5-year plan that we had up till now, so. But anyway, all right, so we'll start with Mary Ellen and Dave on the HVAC. And I call it that, but you know, I didn't mean.
Yeah. Well, we had our third company come this week. It was Greenleaf. One gentleman came and I think kind of quickly went through the building. I sent him the materials that he needed and, you know, all the electric bills, et cetera. So we had a company come in July, August, and now September. You probably all saw that the July company, Air Temp, wrote back to us, and I don't know if you got to see the message he wrote. You know, I'm rather naive about my questions to him. I was hoping Mark would understand the report better than I do. The way that our lighting projects were presented to us, it was a clear message on how much savings we would get and how much the electricity would cost, et cetera. This person didn't do that. So I sent him a few questions off the top of my head and I'll read them. Do you have an estimate of the electric bill using the heat pumps in the proposal? And he wrote back, the heat pumps max kilowatt usage based on the spec sheets is cooling kilowatt max at 15.3 kilowatts and heating at 15.29 kilowatts per hour. What makes the heat pump equipment efficient is how that it can recover heat from the outside during the winter before turning on the electric heat strips. The units use only as much power as they need. So if they need 5% or 18%, that is what's used. Boilers and regular HVAC cannot modulate. They have only 2 to 4 stages. Heat pumps can do about 30 or more super efficient. That doesn't tell me how much electricity they'll be using. So regarding that, the second company that came in, I think had a more clear handle on that. And they said they definitely would be looking at whether our overage can supply the electricity that's needed. And I'm hoping that they do that. They sat down and talked for a good half hour before they went through the building. And they gave me a sample of the work they did in Portland schools. So I think I didn't ask them if they're ready yet with their proposal. I did send something to Rodney to sort of get him going, the one we just received. So I thought the other company didn't come that long ago, so the second company, so I didn't bug them yet. The second question I asked about was, is there an incentive from Eversource or other funds for installing heat pumps? And Rodney wrote back, the Eversource incentive should be increasing in 2023 to $2,500 per ton, only valid when we get official letter. If the school adds the additional cost of motion sensors per head, maybe may be able to get small amount of custom rebate in addition. It's an extra cost to the job. Then I said, what qualifies for on-bill 0% loan from Eversource? And he said, heat pumps usually qualify. We just have to ask. It's better also to add other small energy efficiency measures to help. And I asked about, you know, he put on there a switch from our oil burners to propane. And he said, that's not necessary at this stage. So that's good to hear because he didn't give us a price. He said, I can provide a separate proposal to change burners. It is not needed as part of this project, but would be included if we did a more comprehensive plan in the school. I suspect that's a very large cost, you know,
But
to switch
also-
out the burners. I also don't see why we would do it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering from a propane perspective, from what I'm hearing, propane and natural gas are gonna be just as cost prohibitive as oil if they're not already.
Yeah, and I think we're going to try to rely on the heat pumps
Right.
for heat. So the oils would probably be supplying our hot water to the classrooms.
And
The
probably
last
some
gentleman
supplemental
came
heat.
through. Yeah, right. The last guy who
Hmm.
came through said that we could install instant on heaters underneath the sinks in each of the classrooms. I know we have 47 sinks. I know we don't have that many classrooms. I don't know if that would be worth it. There is a power supply on the counter, above the counter, but I'm not sure that would be worth it. It would also be electric use. So, and the last person that Samantha told us about from Greenleaf, he said there's a valve in the mechanical room that should have been opened up, and he said you're wasting electricity. So I think, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know if Dave or Mark want to come in and take a look at it. But
It got to do with
he
the air
said that
compressor?
when
Is it the air compressor?
yeah, the variable frequency drives.
Oh, very.
Yeah, he said when they installed them, they didn't open it up. He asked what company had done it. I suppose we could contact the company because I do
Probably
have,
was New
I couldn't
Man-
remember,
Probably
but
New
I
England.
have
New
the
England
bill.
Mechanic.
It went through Earthlight and they jobbed that part out to another company. So, yeah, but if you guys could come in and take a look at what they're talking about, I can point it out to you. I failed to bring my phone, so I didn't take a picture of it. I guess I could go in there too and take a picture of it and let
It
you
would be
know.
hard without looking at the full system. Just one picture of the
Yeah.
valve wouldn't really do.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah,
be
so
able.
we could,
Okay,
I
so
really don't know what all these things do, so.
Yeah,
can I just
well,
ask?
I'm
one
not sure if I
question?
would either, but I can both.
Can I ask one question?
Of course.
Sure.
We have one formal quote for installation. We have 3 guys look at it, so we're waiting for 2 more quotes for installation. Is that correct?
Yes,
I tell you, Mary Ellen, thanks a lot for meeting with those guys. I'm sorry, couldn't be there the other day. But
not
I
a problem.
appreciate doing a lot behind the scenes here.
Not a problem.
So when
I'm
will we
learning.
expect to see the other quotes, do you think?
Well, I think he came the last week in August, so I
Okay.
can email him. I thought he had the clearest presentation of what he
Yeah.
can offer and the promise that he would spell out savings. I had a bit of a hard time finding the savings in what Rodney just sent to us. There were lists of things that we could do. And, like I said, I don't know what each of those things mean. So
I looked at that
some of them
spreadsheet
seem-
and I saw $18,000 savings. Is that what, 1 year? Is that what that's trying to say? I couldn't quite understand it either. I looked at it this afternoon after you sent it.
I assumed it was a year.
Yeah,
I assumed it was a year. And I think some of the things are pretty easy to do, like to set the heat, the degree of heat down a little bit. I think all the companies mentioned putting CO2 level measures in the classrooms so that our 24/7 ventilation that's completely open all the time doesn't have to be. They should just be measuring the CO2, which I've read about, that's the thing that you really want to worry about for children's learning is that, you have fresh air, but it doesn't have to be open as much as we've been leaving it open, which should save some money.
Mhm.
So that's a measure. Everybody mentioned our thermostats are pneumatic and they could be digital. And they could be just plain digital, or they could be digital that, for
Programmable.
example, Samantha could control from her cell phone. We don't have to go that far, but we could get that kind of a system, but just switching over our thermostats is another.
Might be a
Um,
nice way to keep them in line, the teachers in line. Oh, if you don't do a good job, I'm gonna shut your heat off. It'll be like a kid's punishment. That's what
But
we do
you-
for
yeah,
Madeline.
well,
You want to say that at something we're posting as a public meeting?
Well, not seriously.
Oh, okay.
so, yeah, there were a few things in everybody's proposals that I thought were, we could pick and choose. The fact that we have 47 sinks is good because it's one of the measures that counts for energy improvement. If we just put aerators on them, I cannot imagine that that's very expensive. But we shouldn't do anything until it's part of the proposal, because you should not improve it, because it has to be done after, after we put in the bid
Yep.
or the proposal to Eversource. So, like the
Would
third guy said, have
programmable
you already?
thermostats count too?
Yes, I believe so. I believe so. But it has to be wrapped up in a package and then presented to Eversource. And the third person said, have you already presented to Eversource? Because he said that could complicate things, but we haven't. We've only
Right.
gone to the point where whoever in the company normally works with Eversource is making the estimates on savings and what things would qualify and what things won't. So, and it sounds like 2023
So
might be worth waiting for.
my question would be, for the Eversource part of it, is it I'll say almost like a grant / incentive from Eversource where they would help fund part of the project, or is it just like that they would give us like a 0% loan, or is it maybe both?
It's both. Well, on the lighting projects, they, say it was $50,000 to do the lighting, and then they knocked it down to 25,000, where they assume the other 25. And then we throw in any local money that we have, like Green Energy Committee threw in a few thousand, maybe 8,000 at the max. If we did anything from capital non-recurring. So it brings the whole price down, and then what you have for your billing, on your on-bill 0% interest is lower. So it's paid off faster through the electric bill. So
Right.
you get the incentive knocked off right away. You throw in your local money, and then, or maybe you throw in the local money. Yeah, I don't remember which order you do it in, but the local money knocked the whole thing down, which we have to ask Sally about how much we've paid off, but I think we've paid off all of the loans for the lighting already. But she knows better.
Okay, so as far as this goes, we're just waiting for some more quotes at this point. So we get
I
something
think
to
so.
to compare.
Yeah, and also the style in which they present it and what they can offer us. I noticed, I think on this one, that if we had them come in after hours, it would cost more. I think there was a line in there about that. So we would have to wait for vacation time to let people come in. And then we'll have to ask if waiting for 2023 to happen, when the new federal money comes in for heat pumps and the like, will help us. So
Some of the work can be done outside and during school hours and not disrupt, I'm sure. But there are definitely
yes,
things that they're gonna have to come in second shift or on a weekend or whatever to do,
yeah,
because they're inside the school and you can't be in the classroom when the school is in session,
right.
Right now, it's just gonna
There's-
get 3 quotes and take a look at them, and we're not gonna be comparing apples and apples the way I see it, so it's gonna be kind of difficult. So the cost incentive, cost savings, all that is important too, to justify each quote. So we really need all of that,
Yes,
yes, So it's gonna
Yeah.
have to wait.
we
They
do.
know that, they all know that, they know what we're looking for.
Yeah. And it might be worth it, once we get all that, I really wouldn't mind almost having an in-person meeting where we can have all the reports and kind of look at them together and
Exactly.
be able to like, kind of make a consensus kind of based on all that. And, so it's hard
Gonna
to
have to. Gonna have
piecemeal
to.
that together independently and then talk at a meeting like this. So I think
Yep.
we'll have to do maybe in October, we can do an in-person Zoom meeting if we have all that information and not, sorry, in-person Zoom meeting. We could do an
Sit down.
in-person meeting,
Right.
not do Zoom for that purpose.
The
how
second
it-
person who is from ECS said that he would like to present in person to a small group of people before he goes to the full board. And I said, well, that would be this committee.
Right.
So he could explain all the savings and get on the same page.
Yeah.
There was a concern. The third person who came in pointed out that the compressors that are outside for the server room, and I drove around the back, Samantha, and saw where the one is for the kindergarten. They're both on the ground. And he said they shouldn't be. They, like the one outside the superintendent's office is up on like a little table type thing. But he said snow should not be accumulated around them. So I don't know if that's something, I don't know where those compressors came from. Maybe Sam knows, but we should probably reach out to that company and find out if it is okay for them to be installed the way they are.
Well, it's all jargon to me, but seems like the guys would know more about this than us. About such things.
Yeah, I have a heat pump in our office building and it is raised and yeah, and Sam, you had said that one of them wasn't working. Did you get that fixed or figure out who to have called to fix it?
Yep, we got, it was just a weird coincidence that it was the two that were in the cafeteria, in the kitchen.
Oh,
But our new guy, Mr. Harris, went outside and cleaned it out really well and vacuumed out from the inside, and they're fine.
oh,
Good.
good.
Yeah,
So I'm
You're
sorry, but
saying your new guy, we have a new custodian?
yes,
Very good.
yeah, our new guy,
A new guy, a new custodian.
yes.
Good.
All right.
so if it's okay, I would also like to thank Mary Ellen and Dave because they did a lot of work on this. And again, it would have been torture if I had to do it. So I really appreciate that you all put the time and effort in. Thank you.
I can't take
Absolutely, I
much of the
second
credit
that.
because most of the credit goes to Mary Ellen.
Okay, but you get some.
Thank you.
I'm learning. I have to say I'm learning, but we did do this on our lighting projects and we did 3 lighting projects. So we're very much dependent on the companies that we call in. But knowing that they're pre-approved by the state helps a lot. Now we just have to catch up to understand what they're talking about and what money we can get. But I didn't think, even though the bill shocked me when I first read it, I realized that when you look at the other savings that could be gotten, and you look at not having that $10,000 oil bill, it was like every month, it's sort of maybe a break even kind of thing.
Within a shorter period of time, it might still be 3 or 4 years of a duration before you would break even, but still after that, it doesn't seem like it's going to take too long, especially, the 119 is the bill not considering what Eversource would offset.
Right. And the incentive money, right?
Right.
The savings, if you do the small things like put in CO2 monitors
Right.
and yeah, there were some complaints about our air exchange system and our insulation up there and, small things like that.
Hmm. Oh, on a side note, related but not related, because of the changes in COVID restrictions, are we running our ventilation and with the source being outside air 24/7 like we were doing during COVID? Do we know that?
We,
I guess-
we haven't changed anything.
Okay. I guess I would ask, and Dr. Thorley, this might be kind of in your bailiwick of, do we still need to?
So I will say that we are really closely monitoring our community rates. So we're even reevaluating our current eating in the cafeteria.
Okay,
So we're not there yet. So
Yeah.
I would hesitate to change anything just yet. We are going to reevaluate in October, so that's right around the corner. So by October, we could consider that depending on what our
Right.
community level rate is.
yeah. Well, and
Sounds good.
it's a different story, like now compared to the middle of January is a different story anyway, because right now pulling in air from the outside is really not hurting us from a heat perspective, but it did over the winter, so,
Right, yes.
okay. Fair enough. All right, no,
The last guy who came in, oh, go ahead.
no, I was done.
The last guy who came in said, you run it an hour before people come into the building, you've exchanged the air. And I don't think we'd probably have to do it on the weekends.
Mhm.
And so it'd be closed at night, it'd be closed, I don't know, maybe 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. And then run it an hour or two before the kids come in. But that requires calling in a company and resetting all the controls.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. That New England Mechanical again knows that system pretty well. I don't know if they, but were the original ones that set it up to run 24/7 or not, so. All right. Good. No, I appreciate all the hard work on that and second what Rose had said, so. And that goes for David too. All right. So just from a 5-year plan perspective, I had worked it back in May. I think I added a couple of things we did. I don't think one thing I know I didn't add, and I'll do that, even though I just sent it out kind of for a preliminary review. But we, at the end of last year, we did end up replacing the contents of that second arsenic tank. So that should be good.
Mhm.
But then before Dr. Oler left, he was saying that those tanks there's 2 tanks and the contents have to be changed every other tank has to be changed every year. If that makes sense. So I think those contents have to be changed once a year, but I think it also is based on the quantity of arsenic that's in them. So, anyway, I don't know as though that's quite right in the 5-year plan, but I think almost everything else I put in there. So if anybody can think of something I missed, just let me know.
I
Mark,
vaguely remember him saying they're good for 2 years, but that's big.
What, one tank is good for 2 years, I think. And so it's like the
Change
every
one.
other, so, and then there's
Yeah.
2 tanks, so it's like they all, every year it
Every other
alternates
year,
which one you have to
yes.
replace, I think. If I
Okay,
remember right.
That's the way I heard it. That's the way I understood it.
okay.
So more to come on that, and then
Mark, if I could add something
Yep.
is I would like for our PA system to be repaired.
yeah,
So I see that more as like an immediate for this 22-23 school year, if that could get added in
Yep.
there.
absolutely, yeah.
I was gonna ask about that. I had that on my notes here to ask what was going on with the PA systems. I know we left it was down and I guess you had somebody look at it and give you a price. I remember Sam Roberson saying something about that.
Yep. Yep.
I think it
Uh,
would be beneficial for us to send it to bid.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because it was like $50,000 or something in that neighborhood,
Um,
right?
I think it was 30, but yes, it was a jaw dropper.
Yeah.
So,
That's a full replacement too, right?
yes.
And did that, I'll be honest with you, I did look up the company, but I didn't research it that thoroughly. If, I don't remember that, I think that was a wired system to kind of replace the as is what we have now with a new system. But then Kathy Donahue, who had brought up and gave me a link for the
Wireless.
wireless, so excuse me for just a second.
I do think
Oh.
that it would be beneficial for us to have both. I'm nervous to just run on a wireless system
I agree.
because it's typically relying upon, internet or something of that nature that could go down, or in an event of something, horrific happening, not be available. So I wouldn't want to go totally wireless, or dependent upon totally wireless as much as possible to keep it wired so
Yeah.
we know that it's secured.
Okay.
Now, the existing
that's fair
system,
point.
2 cents in that.
the existing system, correct me if I'm wrong, does not have speakers in the bathrooms? Was that?
I think there are speakers, they're just not working.
Or it could be the PA system that was working. It sort of died in pieces. So we've been able to use it. And there are still some parts that we can use, but it's pretty forceful. It's a good old fashioned PA system like you might remember, like I remember when I was in high school. So I'm not sure that it may even like project to those corners of the school that don't have a speaker in them.
I'd have
whereas-
to add some speakers.
yeah, the
Okay.
what we're using now is it's a little too soft for
Yeah.
Could we look at getting a couple other quotes, a couple other bids?
Yeah,
And then we'll go further with it. Make a decision.
do we have the bid that we had gotten for the 30,000? Do we have that info still? I can look back at my emails. I don't remember if we had got who that company was and like an actual piece of paper with their proposal on it. I don't know if we had that. Does anybody remember?
I don't remember seeing it in an email anywhere. Sam, well, maybe I did see it once. It goes
can't
back
remember.
quite a while.
I have it.
Yeah.
Can you
might have
send that
shared it
out,
with
Sam?
us.
Yep,
Okay,
absolutely.
and then Dr. Sarley, I don't know, would you want to look into two other companies to see if we could get because at that cost, we'd have to go to 3 companies at minimum to before we would be able to move forward.
Is it,
I guess what I'm asking, do you want to do that, or do you want like us to try to research other companies for that?
no, I can do that. I just don't know, because it's that expensive, is it 3 companies would be sufficient, or do we have to put it out like for a full bid?
I thought you have to
Good
write a request for proposals with specifics on it, and so that each company is bidding the same, on the
Oh,
same
Kind of
idea.
like what we
So-
did for the paving. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure just because it's so expensive, that is what we'd have to do.
So maybe
think it
what we
was
could do is use what
40,000.
Sam had gotten as a basis for what we would look for 2 other companies to give us a proposal. We probably have to reach out to that company again because the way things have changed cost wise, we probably have to go to them as well, but at least we could go to them as well as 2 other companies with the same list of expectations.
Yeah, you might be right. I'm
So
looking,
happens those
I'm looking in my
expectations are based on the
email.
first companies.
I have a note to myself that it was 40, so. I'm looking for the quote. I'll send it.
Okay,
Yeah, I
Alright, yeah, so
remember
we'll-
40 from the notes. But I'm just concerned that the wiring is still good in every classroom too. I know that it's hardwired to the classrooms, but if it was going down in pieces, I'm hoping that the wiring is stable.
I'm sure there probably has to be some wiring in question. It'll be replaced, but they could probably use a good percentage of the existing wiring. Hardwire is pretty reliable. That's why we
Right.
want to use, that's why you want to use that kind of PA system. If
Yeah.
you can,
Mm.
and have the walkie-talkies for a backup. I got you covered. I agree.
Yeah,
Alright. Alright, yeah, I'll add that moving forward to the 5-year plan, but also to the agenda, so that'll be another topic that we should talk a little bit more frequently on the monthly basis, so. All right, and yeah, if anything else comes up, obviously, you know, working with Dr. Ola over the last couple of years, he was pretty upfront with us, you know, as things came up, just to run it by us, and, you know, we can help it as we can to work through the different things, so. Let us know. All right. Let's see, I think that was all I had for the 5-year plan discussion. Anybody else have any other items they wanted to bring up as from that perspective? All right, good discussions. All right, so I guess we're on to another audience for staff and citizens. Diane, I think you would be the recipient for that, if you'd like to make any other comments or questions.
No, I'm good.
All right, and I
What happened?
apologize, I don't see Juan. Did he?
Yeah, Juan.
I don't
What happened?
see that he joined, but
I'm
I
not
think we
sure.
can open it up to him at the
Yes,
full
I
board
did. I
meeting, you know,
reached out.
for anything he has questions on for the FNO, we will be more than willing to answer, so.
Sure.
yeah, I just don't know if Diane knows you're considered audience for citizens, just because if there's 5 board members, it's actually a meeting of the full board, and it wasn't posted that way. So that's why you have to be put into that category during the meeting.
You can put me anywhere you want.
All right.
I'm not
Very
going
good. So,
away.
it'll be a similar agenda next time, probably. I'll scratch the paving project and we'll just concentrate on the HVAC and the PA system actions. And then my plan would be to probably call this the September meeting and not do one the Thursday before the full board meeting. But in October, are people okay if we I'll try not to forget to post the agenda next time, but, or do it earlier so that we can, do we want to do the Thursday before the full meeting again?
I do, only because the agenda was messed up for this.
Right,
So I just assume not delay the next meeting.
but
Can we get this posted by tomorrow, do you think, Samantha?
Onto the website,
Yeah,
I can,
you mean the minutes?
I mean the recording,
Oh, yeah, okay.
yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that Sam or Sally, one of us can get this up there for sure.
Thank you.
I'll do the minutes shortly after our meeting and send them to you, Samantha.
Okay, thanks,
It's
Mary
not
Ellen.
a very hard one. It's not a hard one to do.
Okay, very good.
All right, so we talked agenda and the date. I have my phone here. Maybe calendar.
October
knew where all
26th.
my,
is
if
our
I knew where
meeting,
all
so
my
it's the
things were.
20th. October 20th.
Thank you. October 20th.
Yep.
And now that I know what the agenda is, maybe I'll actually just send it out within a week or two of tonight, and then that way there, I'm sure it'll be posted well in advance.
And if you need to change it, you could. But that would also help in that I get people telling me, oh, no, I don't have a meeting because it's not on the town website.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is ridiculous because I might have a meeting with my dentist that would count, but
right.
anyway, yeah.
Do you,
right.
the second person who asked, from ECS, he asked if he could meet with a group. If he's ready, do you want him to know our date of October 20th so he could present to us?
Well, I don't mind that. So the logistics of what we just went through for the PA system and needing to do a bid or at least get the proposal out there for the 3 similar ones. So when we did the paving, we did get sealed bids that we reviewed and then made a choice on who the paving company was for. So I am thinking in the back of my head, if we are talking about the same amount, is it because these are Connecticut certified companies? So therefore we don't need to get the sealed bids? I honestly, I
Yeah.
gotta maybe set with Sally, what drives the fact that we had to get the sealed bids for those? And do we need to do that for either of these other 2 projects? I gotta understand that more.
We did not get sealed bids for our lighting projects. Whether we should have and didn't do it right, I don't know, but I don't believe so.
Okay,
They were both under Frank, or all 3 of them, I think were under Frank, but
great.
my understanding is as long as they're approved by the state of Connecticut, and Eversource accepts those, that we don't
Great.
have to, but he would just be doing, whether or not we accepted it, he would just be
Great.
presenting to
Yeah, it's
us.
not,
I don't, yeah,
yeah, maybe I'll ask Sally if she could just clarify that for us, just to make sure we all understand what requires and what doesn't.
This guy
Okay.
would like to come and sit down with us and have a presentation, correct? Mary Ellen,
yes,
a face-to-face, not a
Yes.
Zoom.
correct.
Okay,
And the person who sent us this current information from Air Temp, Rodney, I think I'll just say we're considering it. We're considering everything at this point, and we'll get back to them when we know more. I mean, we can't move on it. I don't want to put them off to say we're not accepting it. I just say we're working on it. Okay. I'm sure they're busy. I'm sure they're not waiting for us.
Great. Good. All right, well, appreciate everybody's time and discussion tonight, and next month, the other thing we didn't talk about is next month, we'll try to plan it as a in-person meeting. But Dr. Sarli, does that work for you, or would that be difficult for you to do that?
No, we could do in person.
Would it be easier though, like if we did it, try to do it, could people do it earlier then? I don't want to get you caught at 8 o'clock at night out in Hampton, so.
It's okay.
I mean, I probably could do 6 o'clock or 5:30 even, if people could do that.
I could.
Works for me.
yep, me too.
Yay. Definitely worked for me.
Okay.
I'm maybe not gonna be able to do in person.
Okay,
All right.
If that's the case, we'll have to set up a Zoom for me.
okay, we could do that.
Okay. I won't
Right.
know till we're closer.
Got it. No, it's all right. We could be flexible. And I mean, it kind of depends also on whether we have the data we need from the 2 other companies, because I think that's the primary purpose of going in person for that meeting. And going forward, I mean, if people aren't opposed, I don't mind having the Zoom meetings for these F and O meetings. Typically it works. I mean, in person is nice, but at the same time, getting done with the meeting and not having to drive an hour is a nice thing. So I understand that too. There's a convenience to it that's nice.
I just remember that EastCon is going to be having a meeting with board members every other week regarding finances, and it would have been 5:30 tonight. So I'm not sure how it's going to fall in October, whether it's going to be an EastCon month and I have to go to those. So yeah, I won't put the time on the minutes, and we'll work it out as it
Okay.
goes.
All right, that sounds good. All right, everybody, I think that's all I had. So I guess we'll adjourn at 8:04.